Senate is about Nigeria and Nigerians.
We demand that we need a major reform. Head must roll.
Senate to probe the import and dumping of hazardous petroleum products in the country. And senators make case for the inclusion of North East in the Renewed Hope Road project. Hello and welcome to another episode of Inside the Senate, your window into activities in the Red Chamber at the National Assembly and its members. I am your anchor on the program, Hadiza Bayo Aliu. Last week, in a motion, the Senate set up an ad hoc committee to investigate the continued importation of hazardous petroleum products and dumping of substandard diesel into Nigeria. In another motion, the Senate moved to include the North East Geopolitical Zone in the Renewed Hope Legacy Road infrastructure projects of the Tinubu administration. Inside the Senate, we'll bring you reports on how these motions were debated and the resolutions adopted. These and other stories make up our program for the week. Please stay tuned.
Promote the unity, happiness, and prosperity of Nigeria.
The Defense Industries Corporation of Nigeria Act, Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2023.
And this act should be supported by all.
There are issues that we must use this opportunity to critically address.
We accord this motion the urgency and the necessity it requires.
I rise the second motion.
The ayes have it.
Welcome back. On Wednesday, 3rd of July 2024, Senator Asukwo Ekpeyong from Cross River North, rising on Orders 41 and 51, drew the attention of the Senate to the urgent need to investigate the continued importation of hazardous petroleum products and dumping of substandard diesel into Nigeria. According to Senator Asukwo, on 16 June 2024, it was reported that 12 diesel cargoes conveying a total of 660 kilotons of diesel were exported by refineries to offshore Lome, Togo, for further distribution to West African markets, mainly Nigeria.
The quality of the said diesel is below the Nigerian standard in terms of flash and sulfur levels. In spite of the substandard nature of the diesel, it has found its way into the Nigerian market as a truck on empty carlos, which arrived Lome on the 16th of June, which immediately did a ship-to-ship transfer to DVMT Matriarch Triumph, and then proceeded to discharge into Matriarch Jetty in Warri on the 21st of June 2024.
The lawmaker further noted that the diesel is priced below fair market value, which constitutes dumping by the World Trade Organization's rules, which stipulates that countries are permitted to take measures to protect their local industries in the event of dumping. Some other lawmakers reacted to the motion.
Mr. President, if you look at line by line of this motion that is before us, it is clear that even quoting the dates where each of these transactions takes place is enough for us to look into this sector, not only this motion alone. Mr. President, I want to say that we demand that we need a major reform. Head must roll in the Nigerian Petroleum Corporation and even other agencies of the government that are saddled with this responsibility.
If we have unbundled NNPC, then some people should be held responsible for not doing what they're supposed to do. But we have unbundled NNPC, but also at the same time tie their hands and they cannot do anything. Dangote established a refinery, and which is almost the biggest refinery today in the world. Nobody is encouraging him. Nothing is being done to encourage him. He has to go to the United States to buy crude oil. Our Nigerian crude oil is one of the best when it is refined. We have so many things in it. He will pay for this crude oil. He will not even get it as at when he wanted it. So what are we doing to ourselves? And we keep importing something that will kill us.
3 refineries
over $4 billion sunk into it, and different dates of commitment: September 2023, December 2023, June 2024, July. Now they are saying the three of them will work simultaneously. July beginning, July ending, August, everything will work smoothly. We have 5 modular refineries going on. We have the one from Dangote, and then we are issuing licenses every day. As you open newspapers, you see licenses to bring in what? Diesel, bring in fuel, bring in this, bring in that. We are not even encouraging local production. America and many other countries do everything to protect their local production in order to save jobs. So this August Assembly must rise to the occasion.
Accordingly, the Senate resolves to constitute an Adhoc committee to examine the pre-shipment and pre-discharge standard test parameters adopted by the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Regulatory Authority with a view to uncovering loopholes, if any, being exploited to get toxic cargoes into the country. Determine the level of compliance of the NNPCL's direct sale and direct purchase DSDP arrangements in line with the provisions of the Petroleum Industry Act, including the extent of transparency and accountability in the scheme. Beam legislative searchlight on the activities of the Petroleum Equalization Fund, including payment made to transporters in the last 10 years. Inquire from the NNPC Limited the state status of the 22 depots built by the defunct NNPC to eliminate road distribution of petroleum products. Engage with stakeholders within the oil and gas industry with a view to identifying possible gaps in regulating and strengthening the surveillance and monitoring structures in place to enable Nigeria to detect violations of best practice standards in the importation of products before they enter into the domestic supply chains. Also engage with the NNPC Limited with a view to understanding the extent of its determination and timelines for the startup of government-funded oil refineries. Investigate how institutions across the importation and distribution chain failed to conduct quality sampling, ship in products without auditing, port validations by the Nigerian Customs Service, Department of Petroleum Resources DPR, National Maritime Authority NMA, and Standards Organization of Nigeria SON. The motion was voted on and adopted, and an ad hoc committee to conduct a comprehensive investigation on all the prayers was constituted. The ad hoc committee, which is to be chaired by the Senate leader, Senator Bamidele Michael, has 14 members. It is to report to the Senate within 3 weeks. We'll take a break here to open the Senate notebook. Keep watching.
The Senate Minority Leader is a key leadership position held by a member of the party with the second largest number of seats in the Senate. This leader acts as the chief spokesperson and strategist for the minority parties, organizing opposition to the majority party's agenda and working to promote the minority party's policies. The Minority Leader coordinates legislative activities, negotiates with the Majority Leader, and strives to protect the rights and interests of the minority party members. This role is crucial for maintaining balance and ensuring that diverse viewpoints are represented in the legislative process.
Welcome back. Still on activities from last week in the Red Chamber of the National Assembly, the Senate considered several bills, petitions, and motions during plenary, bordering on security, infrastructural development, among others. Let's join our studio for more reports on plenary proceedings from last week. Don't go away.
Mr. President, I have a petition from my constituents.
In the week under review, one petition was received on the floor of the Senate. It was presented by Senator Victor Ume, representing Anambra Central from one of his constituents, Mrs. Onyebuchi Ogochukwu Grace, and Ayom Naokpala Oka Welfare Association, and it was against some officers of Nigeria Police Force over the gruesome murder of one late Onyebuchi Ann.
A motorcyclist ran into his car and they settled their differences
and the motorcyclist went away happily because there was no injury. But surprisingly, some officers of the Special Intervention Squad of the FCT Police Command on patrol came around and apprehended the young man. And the man told them he had no problem with the cyclist, he has already gone. They said no. They started beating him with butts of gun and tear gas. From a small thing, this young man was brutalized and he went into coma. He was taken to Kubwa General Hospital. From there, he was not resuscitated. He was transferred to National Hospital, Abuja. The next day, he died by 10 a.m.
The petition was referred to the Committees on Police Affairs and Ethics, Code of Conduct and Public Petitions to report within 10 days.
Mr. President, the motion is on the suicide attack in Goza.
Moving on to motions, Senator Alin Dume from Borno South, rising on orders 41 and 51, drew the attention of the Senate to suicide attacks in Goza, Borno State on 29 June 2024 by brazen suicide bombers who targeted wedding ceremonies, funerals and hospitals in sporadic and coordinated attacks. This, he said, resulted in the unfortunate deaths of about 32 innocent Nigerians, leaving scores of other victims wounded with varied degrees of injuries.
Further notes that these attacks have raised significant concern about the security situation in the region, which has been flashpoint of terrorist attacks over the years, and this calls for concerted and coordinated efforts of the security agencies to address the state of insecurity in Borno State and other parts of the country experiencing similar situations.
There were contributions to the motion by some senators.
It costs nothing for the intelligent army to get devices in their phone to know where these notorious criminals live. As I'm here, I check my phone regularly and I know the number of guns that are very close to me here. This is just less than 1,000 installation.
I support construction of roads. But today what Nigeria needs is to secure their lives. So we should take it as a priority that when we appropriate, henceforth, real investment must be made in the armed forces and other security agencies.
Prayers for the motion include to observe a minute's silence in honor of those innocent Nigerians who lost their precious lives in those unfortunate incidents, urge the National Emergency Management Agency (NEMA) to intensify efforts by providing relief materials for the victims of the attacks. Also urge the federal government to direct the security agencies to deploy modern technology in the fight against insurgency and to make concerted efforts in securing the hotspots inhabited by the insurgents, namely the Lake Chad region, Sambisa Forest and Mandara Mountains, respectively, and further urge the federal government to seek collaboration with private security contractors in the area of hotspots of Sambisa, Mandara Mountains and Chad region. The motion was voted on and adopted, after which a minute's silence was observed in honor of the victims.
Rest in perfect peace.
The claim is allowed by the President of the Senate.
Same day, rising on orders 41 and 51, Senator Mohammed Danjuma Goje from Gombe Central moved a motion on the need to include the North East Geopolitical Zone in the Renewed Hope Legacy Road Infrastructure projects.
These landmark projects, which are made up of the Sokoto-Badagry Superhighway connecting Sokoto Northwest to Badagry Southwest, Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway South-South, Kalaba, Ebonyi, Benue, Kogi, Nasarawa, Abuja Superhighway, Southeast and North Central, respectively, were designed in line with the current administration's commitment towards actualizing the vision of making Nigeria the largest economy in Africa. However, Mr. President, North East is the only zone not included in this very laudable project.
The Senate accordingly resolved to commend Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, for the giant developmental strides in the quest to make Nigeria the biggest economy in Africa, urged the federal government through the Federal Ministry of Works to further expand the Renewed Hope Legacy Road Infrastructure Project, and also urged the federal government to include the Calabar, Makurdi, Jalingo, Yola, Maiduguri Highway, which will integrate the Northeast into the legacy infrastructure road projects of Nigeria. On bills considered last week, the following were considered for first reading: Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Alteration Bill 2024, sponsored by Senator Barrow Jibrin. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Alteration Bill 2024, sponsored by Senator Nwoko Ned Munir. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Alteration Bill 2024, sponsored by Senator Okechukwu Ezia. Federal Eye Hospital Mangu Plateau State Establishment Bill 2024, sponsored by Senator Diket Satso Plang. Employees Compensation Act Amendment Bill 2024, sponsored by Senator Buhari Abdul Fattah.
You're still watching Inside the Senate, your window to activities from the Red Chamber of the National Assembly. Still on last week's activities from the Senate wing, the Senate Committee on Solid Minerals Development held a one-day public hearing on a bill for an act to establish the Bitumen Development Commission of Nigeria and provide a legal framework for the promotion of research, study, investment, exploration, production, exportation, development and utilization of locally sourced bitumen in Nigeria and for related matters 2023. The event, which held at the National Assembly complex on Thursday, 4th of July 2024, had in attendance experts, policymakers and representatives of various institutes and agencies in the mining sector. In his opening remarks, Chairman of the committee and chief host of the event, Senator Ekong Thompson, noted that Nigeria has one of the largest bitumen reserves in the world, estimated at about 42 billion tons.
That clearly translates to so much wealth for this country. Our duty as a legislature is to provide the necessary legal framework backed by data that will drive inroads into the vast potential of this country.
Senator Ekong also commended the sponsor of the bill for his passion in the development of the solid mineral sector and bringing to the limelight the vast deposits of bitumen in Ondo State and other states like Edo, Ogun, Akwa Ibom, and Lagos State. In his presentation, sponsor of the bill, Senator Jimoh Ibrahim, stated that the $110 billion bill global bitumen market is currently being controlled by 9 countries in the world, some of which have less quantities of the natural resource when compared to Nigeria.
We still have bitumen even in places like Ogun, Oyo, and Lagos. So you can imagine the money value of those bitumen in those areas, adding to a 42 billion in the market cap of $110 billion. It even simply means that Nigeria probably have half of the market value of bitumen in the world.
Senator Jimoh Ibrahim further stated that earnings from bitumen deposit in Nigeria, if properly harnessed, can finance Nigeria's budget. There were presentations by other stakeholders at the event.
The Ministry of Innovation, Science and Technology is in tandem with the mandate to monitor and evaluate local content that will assist to coordinate science, technology, and innovation nationwide.
Ondo State Government hereby presents and support the establishment of the Bitumen Development Commission. This, we hope, is going to address the issues stemming the strategic development, management, and regulation of this resource in Nigeria.
Instead of creating additional agents of the regulation of only bitumen development, it may be more fruitful and better to focus on strengthening regulation capacity of the ministry comprised of the department and agency under it that control the bitumen, like MCO, MI, and MEG, by providing them with adequate budgetary allocation to enable them discharge their statutory mandates and function effectively.
After the event, sponsor of the bill further addressed journalists on the benefits of bitumen to Nigeria.
The global market of bitumen in Nigeria, in the world today, is 110 billion. And Nigeria is not participating. Rather, we are importing. And this is not too good. It's a sad thing. So when we have Bitumen Development Corporation of Nigeria, we will participate in that market. Assuming we have a market cut of just 10%, we can have $10 billion. That's enough to finance our budget.
We'll end the program with a profile segment. Stand by for our Senator of the Week.
Senator Yunus Abiodun Akintunde is the current senator representing Oyo Central in the 10th Senate. He was born on March 6, 1962 in Oyo Town. He had his early education at Ansaruddin Model Primary School, Balogun, and secondary school education at Oranyan Grammar School, both in Oyo Town. He also attended Ibadan Polytechnic, Lagos State University, and the prestigious University of Ibadan. He holds an array of academic qualifications that have equipped him with a wealth of knowledge across multiple disciplines, which include Ordinary National Diploma in Physics with Electronics, Bachelor of Science in Physics, Masters of Public Administration, Masters of Science in Energy Studies, and a doctorate degree in Energy Studies. Senator Yunus Abiodun Akintunde is currently the MD CEO of Trade Codes Limited, a company he founded in 2002, which offers a range of services including infrastructure advisory, planning and delivery, energy and environmental advisory, capital projects delivery, agricultural venture advisory, and employee upskilling and development training for organizations in relevant industries. Outside of his work, he also serves as a member of several professional bodies including Nigerian Association for Energy Economics (NAEE), International Association for Energy Economics (IAEE), Nigerian Environmental Study Action Team, Nigeria Environmental Society, and Associate Member, Nigerian Institute of Management. He is also a visiting lecturer at the University of Ibadan Center for Petroleum Economics, Energy and Law (CPEEL), Ibadan, Oyo State. Senator Akintunde's political career kicked off in 1999 when he was appointed to serve as Commissioner, Oyo State Civil Service Commission from 1999 to 2003, and also Commissioner for Works and Transport between August 2011 and November 2012. In addition, he served as the Executive Assistant to the Governor of Oyo State between April 2014 and April 2015. Senator Yunus Abiodun Akintunde was sworn in as a first-time senator on 13th of June 2023 to represent Oyo Central Senatorial District in the 10th Senate under the platform of the All Progressives Congress (APC). His legislative interests include education, human empowerment, and community development.
Here we draw the curtains on this episode of Inside the Senate. Feel free to watch past episodes of Inside the Senate by connecting with us on our social media platforms displayed on your screen. Until I come your way again with another edition of the program, enjoy the rest of your day.